Hi, I'm Will Sharon, and today I want to talk to you about COVID-19 dreams. And there's really two reasons. One is it's obviously a subject that's coming up in the dreams that my clients are having. And the other thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is there's a whole bunch of stuff online now about what your COVID-19 dreams mean. And that's always concerning to me because basically what happens when you go online to try and find out what your experience means, you're giving up your sovereignty. You're saying, okay, I can't figure this out. Somebody else tell me what this means. Never a good idea. Okay. That's why, and I don't want to get too far into this, but that's why I always say what we want to do is animate a dream, not interpret it. Interpret it, you put it up here. Animate it, you keep it in here where it belongs. It lives in you, informs you. Okay. So I'm going to talk just 2 minutes about my experience in COVID-19. I live outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico, and beautiful house, beautiful views. I work online all day long. I either teach or I talk to clients, or I do videos like this. So in terms of my regular life, has this impacted it? Yes, I stand online with a mask when I go to the grocery store. But other than that, I am not affected the way people are who have lost all their income, can't pay their rent, have to go to work, aren't being provided with proper protection. I'm in a very different category. Your dreams reflect your particular circumstance for the most part. Now, there are dreams that we have that do reflect global situations, and we can look at COVID from that perspective as well. But by and large, in terms of the work that I do, it is about your current circumstance. And why did you put COVID-19 in your dream? Okay. So for me, what's become in sharp relief is the people who are saving my life. Now, I don't have COVID-19, at least I don't think I do. But the people who stock the shelves in the grocery stores are saving my life. And the people who show up at the gas stations are saving my life. Without them, I would be in dire straits, and probably most of you would as well. Okay. So again, that's my current reality, and it has brought into awareness something that I didn't really think about that much. Who stocked the grocery shelves? Okay. All right. So that's context. I'm going to read a dream to you that came from one of my clients several weeks ago. And when I read you the dream, I want you to think about it from the perspective of if you were the casting director for this movie, look at how you have cast COVID-19 in this film. It's a little movie that we're looking at here, this dream, okay? So here's her dream. And she lives in a city, and she lives in a one-bedroom apartment in a large apartment building. The dream goes, I'm in a house with some other people. I can't really tell who they are or what they look like, but we're all standing in front of our own individual windows and looking outside. There are these very large round balls with spikes on them like the COVID-19 virus. They're so large they couldn't get through the doors or the windows in the house, but they're bouncing around and thudding against the house. Everyone is yelling at them. Where did you come from? When will you leave? Who sent you? It's all very loud, and everyone's just yelling through the closed windows. And then everyone stops yelling. And we all turn away from the windows and walk into the main room of the house. I look around and see that everyone is different size, shape, color, gender. We all look at each other for a while and no one says anything. I'm not really afraid, I'm more nervous. I realize I have no idea how I got into this house and who any of these people are, but I know we're stuck here. I feel like we have to figure out what we're going to do. I have no idea. And then I just start to talk. Okay. So unfortunately, in all of these videos, you don't have the benefit of the co-creation of the message of that dream, right? Because basically what I do is ask a whole bunch of questions. But here's what we came up with, which is that not dissimilar to me, her life is not that much affected, at least not right now. She's on unemployment, she's making, because of this federal law, as much money as she was making before. She goes out for groceries, masks, all that kind of stuff, right? It's not a lot of fun. She's a young woman. She'd rather be out and about, but it's not a disaster by any stretch. But what's happening is she's beginning to become aware of the fact that she's pretty disconnected from people. She knows people at work, and she's done the usual online dating thing, but she realized that she lives in a building where there's probably a couple of hundred people, none of whom she knows. Okay? Now, one of the things about dreams that is kind of important, it's kind of essential to this kind of work, is that once you have an awareness, you need to act. Why do you need to act? Because your imagination, your dreamer, is showing you a way in some circumstances how you're organizing your experience, and in this dream, giving you a little bit of a shove to say, hey, there's a whole bunch of people here, that you don't know and you need to interact with. Now, those dreams are less frequent, but she had one, right? So what does she do? And so by acting, what happens is a feedback loop. You act, you have the experience, the dreamer then says, oh, okay, good. Now that you've had that experience, let me show you either how you're organizing that experience in your mind that may or may not be useful, and let me also nudge you a little further. That's how it works. Okay, so what does she do? In the dead of night, she puts together a flyer and goes around the building, protected, and slips a note on everybody's door saying, Zoom call next Tuesday at this time, right? Lo and behold, about a third of the people show up. And they begin to have a discussion, and a process begins to emerge. Older people start reading stories to kids of parents who need a break, and they can do this all over Zoom, right? So she's now involved in a community of people that always was there, but that she never took the opportunity to deal with. Now, I recognize that this is a nice, benign story about COVID, right? Because we know people who are getting sick. Some of us, unfortunately, know people who are dying or who have died. And that is the part of a process of chaos and dissolution of systems that we rely on, that we're all going through. And you can spend the entire day watching the cable news network of your choice and become immersed in that. Except that's not really your reality, okay? If you're not in it, that's not your reality. Your reality is like mine, and it's like hers. And from that perspective, you need to live in that reality, because the only thing that will carry us through, and this is my opinion, okay? The only thing that will carry us through all this is if we continue to step into the fullness of our humanity in whatever way that we do it. There's no grand plan here. There's nobody's going to show up and say, ta-da, you elected me and now here's the solution. It's not going to happen. There is also nobody who knows how this is all going to turn out. It could be really, really bad, and it could be really, really amazing. And it'll probably be both. So what this video is about, really, is another video about nightmares, or another video about how you, in that part of who you are, create these messages to yourself that force you to look at how you're organizing your experience. That's what your dreams are about. How are you organizing your experience? Your dreams are not there to confirm your paranoid delusions. Oh, I think the world's going to fall apart, and I have a dream about the world falling apart, and therefore the world is falling apart. No, you're having the dream to say, hey, this is how you're organizing your experience. This doesn't make any sense. This is not useful to you, okay? This is calling attention to the fact that the fear you are feeling is an old fear. The fear you are feeling comes from a place that is getting tied to COVID. COVID's frightening. But that's not where it started. It started from a place where you were frightened to really be in the fullness of who you are, just like this young woman. We can say it didn't occur to her to connect with her neighbors, but in the city she's in, it is not done. Why isn't it done? Because it's scary. Who the hell are these people, right? What are they going to want from me? You keep yourself to yourself. but that's not who we are as human beings. So this experience that we are going through is challenging all of us, because we just don't know. And anybody who is going to tell you that they know is somebody you ought to sort of slide yourself away from. You need to live in the uncertainty. And you need to follow your intuitions. And your intuitions will come from your dreams. Not entirely, but your dreams are a great source. If you look at them from the standpoint that they are trying to show you how you're organizing your experience. So write them down. And even if you don't have anybody to tell them to, say them out loud. Read them out loud. Because there is a fullness in the expression of the dream in your voice, and you will hear some things you didn't hear. So, as always, I'm around if you want to make a time to sit down and just talk with no obligation about what's going on in your dream world. I'm happy to do that. In the meantime, we have replaced "have a nice day" with "stay safe." So stay safe. I'll talk to you soon.